log in and to get all the people logged into our AMA. So yeah, let's just give it a couple of minutes so that people are
Sure.
logging in.
Hi, everybody.
Alrighty.
Do we see people coming,
I'm sorry?
joining? Do we
Yeah,
see people joining?
yeah. There.
Great.
Yeah, we have people joining now. Okay, everyone's joining today. So welcome everyone. Today we have a very exciting AMA. We're actually going to be talking a little bit about Stobox and Landshare. So for that, we have, well, here Jean and Jordan who are going to help us understand a little bit better. So why don't we start by getting to know you guys? Tell us about yourselves first, and then we'll kind of talk about your company, okay?
Sure. So my name is Jordan Friske. I'm the CEO of Landshare. I've been passionate about blockchain for a long time, and I'm really excited about the potential for real estate on the blockchain, asset tokenization, and all the potential that that brings. With Landshare, what we're trying to do is bring together DeFi and real estate. So that means not just offering real estate investment on the blockchain, but offering additional utilities and a whole DeFi platform that is part of the broader ecosystem. So, you look at features like loans, ETFs, NFTs, all of that kind of stuff. I think we can take the asset tokenization and the real estate investment, and we can create features that increase the utility of asset backed tokens and in a model that's very similar and very familiar to DeFi investors. So that's kind of our goal with Landshare, and that's what we're trying to do. And obviously, with Stobox, our partner, we were able to create our first STO and the first STO on Binance Smart Chain. So that was very exciting, and they've been very helpful to us, and they've allowed us to focus
Thank you.
on our side of things. And I think the collaboration has been really successful.
That's amazing. But before we move on to Jean, just tell us a little bit about how did you get into blockchain, and you kind of told us about Landshare, but tell us a little bit more about you, like your profile, and how did you get into? What have you done before?
So going way back to like maybe 2013, 2012, I bought some Bitcoin. That was, I think for a lot of us, that was kind of our first introduction into blockchain technology. And then Ethereum came along, and Ethereum introduced the smart contract concept, and I had a programming background. So I jumped right into that in terms of developing smart contracts, learning the Solidity programming language. And it was pretty easy to pick up. And as things started to evolve and develop with the Web3 and the web apps for cryptocurrency, that was something that I was really interested in right away. And me and my co-founder were discussing the concepts of like, well, how can we bring like real world use cases to the blockchain, because that was always something we were interested in. Because for a lot of people, they look at crypto, and especially older people or people who may not be familiar with it, they're not sure what exactly is the value here. It's confusing to some people. So if we present a very clear value proposition, then I think it can be very interesting to a lot of people. So that was my background, was just coming in and saying, hey, I have this programming background. My co-founder had some experience with marketing and crypto investment, and he was really familiar with the ecosystem, and he had some contacts. So we came together and we put this project out, and it's been pretty successful so far, and we're excited to see where it goes in the future.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah, I think everyone just got into, like you said, with buying Bitcoin a while ago and then selling it probably at a very unfortunate time. That's how I got in.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. How
Great.
about you? Tell us about you.
Yeah, guys. First of all, I want to say that my name is Jin Dayev. I'm CEO of Stobox. We started 3 years ago. The company is 3 years old. We started by by looking how we can bring real life value into the crypto space. I am serial entrepreneur. I was focusing in a different markets. I'm 40 plus, and I've been studying from real estate to dealerships to trading, and I kind of plus one of my degrees is I'm computer scientist. So 3 years ago, we looked at the amazing opportunities like blockchain, may bring to the world, and then we ask ourselves how. And somehow, because everybody, and it's an interesting story that everybody was looking, especially when you list your token, everybody was asking, are you guys utilities or securities? And at that point, I didn't realize what was that difference. It was like it's more than 3 years now. So, and everybody was running around utilities and listing them, and there was a whole ecosystem about the utility tokens. And I said, okay, full market goes utility, probably we should focus on securities. So this is how we started, and we started with analyzing the landscape. And back then, nobody understood, and very few people understood that securities are securities regardless the form they exist. They can exist on paper or on the blockchain in the form of tokens. It doesn't matter for regulators because they are being regulators of securities. So when we dived into that, we understood that the whole concept, is very similar to what we have on paper. It's just our aim and our task is to kind of bridge that two worlds, the technological and more of a legal part. And this is how we evolved and what we do today mostly. And is one of our key features that we provide turnkey solutions. So we ask the business, how would you like to benefit from that? And from that questions, we kind of evolve into the whole story of you issuing your security tokens and promoting them independence of certain regulations, of course. So, and it took us around 3 years to complete that journey. So we're welcoming our it's not our first client, but it's the first who did Landshare. It's the first guys who tokenized real estate, which is it's a great asset class for tokenization, and especially do it on Binance. We never thought of a Binance to be our first case, but it appeared to be. So it's great, and it's good to it's good to get rolling on that.
Yeah, definitely. And congratulations. I think it's a very good platform, and it's something that was definitely needed in the blockchain world, according to security. So going back to Jordan, why did you decide to make it an STO, and why use BSC?
So, like Gene said, regulators, they don't care what form security takes. So if you want to offer a real estate investment that's legally compliant, you have to do some kind of STO. And we were looking at kind of trying to piece it all together ourselves. We were talking to lawyers and things like that, but we found Stobox, and we realized that they had been on this and they had been researching this subject for years now, and so they were able to give us exactly what we needed to be compliant globally, because every country has different laws. You need to look at the regulations in every single country that you want to do an offering in. And so the STO allowed us to offer to as many countries as we possibly could. And it allowed us to be fully legally compliant. We didn't have to worry about if we were in a gray area or if we were, operating illegally, because we had the Stobox team that had already done all that due diligence for us. And we went with BSC because, you know, at least at the time, I'm not sure if this is still the case, but at the time, BSC was the second largest chain in terms of volume and in terms of different projects on the chain. It already had a very established ecosystem. The transaction fees, gas fees are much lower than Ethereum. The transaction times are lower. And so, what we do is we distribute the rental income from properties to every investor. So if we were to do that on Ethereum, it would be prohibitively expensive in terms of gas fees, and we'd have to cut the frequency of distributions back just because of the cost in terms of gas. And we've gotten some support marketing wise from Binance themselves. They've tweeted us a couple of times, and we've had tons of partnership opportunities because of the chain that we chose. We've had partnerships with PancakeSwap, ApeSwap, Beefy Finance, and a number of other projects. So we ultimately went with the chain because it was the most established chain that we felt had the right tech infrastructure to accommodate what we were trying to do.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty amazing, and definitely agree on the gas fees. Have you done? It's probably not doable or rentable. So, how about the real estate industry? How do you see it developing, and do you think it's really gonna have a push where it's worth it to be in it right now?
Yeah, so for me, I'm just speaking in terms of the U.S. market. That's the market that I'm familiar with. Because of a lot of factors like inflation and supply chain shortages, the value of properties is going up and up and up. So in the past year, the average appreciation is somewhere between 10 to 13% on residential properties. Projections show a similar number for 2022. It's hard to get the materials to build new properties to meet the demand. So existing properties are continuing to appreciate in value, at rates that are almost unprecedented. And with inflation, people want to put their funds into assets instead of holding it in USD. So I think, and obviously real estate, if you look at the trend over 50 plus years, every now and then you'll see a little dip, but for the most part, it's a general uptrend for real estate. It may not be like with crypto, sometimes you see a coin go 100x, but you're not going to get that with real estate, but you're going to get much more stability. You're going to get much more consistency. And, there's really two benefits to it. You get the rental income, which is a consistent cash flow, but the underlying asset is also appreciating in value over time. So I think real estate is a really good choice for people who want something that is going to mitigate their risk a little bit. It's not the riskiest investment. It's a pretty safe investment. It's a pretty stable investment. A lot of people diversify into real estate, no matter how much money you have, or whether you're a billionaire or just a regular person. I think it offers a great opportunity, and I think the projections are showing that we're going to keep seeing property values going up in the next couple of years.
Yeah, very interesting. I think we've heard a lot, definitely, about the real estate market right now booming. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see that mix of blockchain and real estate, for sure. So I'm gonna move to Jean for a little bit, just because I'm seeing some people kind of confused. Maybe Jean, I'm gonna switch a little bit of conversation, but people want to understand the difference between. Well, they want to understand the relationship between Stobox and Landshare, because they're thinking they're the same. We have a comment here saying, I'm confused. Is Stobox and Landshare together? So maybe Jean, you can expand on this just so they understand, and we can have more context to move on.
Yeah, sure. Landshare is one of our clients and now our partners. Landshare is the company that focuses on real estate tokenization on the Binance chain, whereas we are Stobox, we accompany the whole process and help them manage from A to Z, where we started working with the Landshare, trying to understand what's the business model and what's their goals are, and we're pushing through the to the legal side, and from the legal we go to the actual deployment of the dashboard. That's our SaaS product that we introduced to the market. It's the products where you can tokenize and manage your tokenized assets, securities, for example. So Landshare is our full client and a partner in respect to what we do. Assets and securities tokenization. So that's to make it clear. Also,
Yeah.
I wanna add to Jordan's comments about the real estate, saying that just imagine that the real estate historically is one of the most illiquid assets and one of the most safe and illiquid assets, where people find it very difficult to buy and to sell because there's a lot of barriers. I mean, starting from like going somewhere, choosing, right, signing the documents, paying taxes, paying like, and if you're not an expert, that's a very kind of red ocean to you. So you won't do it on a on a frequent basis unless you're a professional. And a lot of investors, they find it very safe to be on that illiquid real estate market. So imagine that we take that illiquid asset and put it on the most liquid vehicles as a blockchain. So I think that's the power of that two things combined will bring the most, let's say, safe asset, one of the most safe assets, to be as liquid as it possibly can get. So and I think that's an amazing shift of and transformation of blockchain technologies to real life implications.
Still talking a little bit more about it. How about NFTs? Everything is about NFTs right now. What do you think? A possible collaboration, or what do you think about NFTs and the real estate market?
If it's please go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think there's a few different ways that you can incorporate NFTs with real estate. I've seen some people throw around a concept of basically having the title to a house be an NFT. So you're essentially digitizing the deed or the title to the property itself. Another implementation, and this is something that we're looking into right now, is having basically a collectible or a model of an existing property that exists within a virtual ecosystem. And if you invest in the real property, you get the NFT property as well. And then so basically it creates like an incentive, or it makes it a little bit more engaging for investors. It makes it a little bit more exciting. And what we want to do is kind of create a whole NFT ecosystem where you can invest in a real world property. You're also getting a virtual property in the form of the NFT, and you can stake the NFT, upgrade, kind of like a play to earn model. That's something that we're actively working on right now. We want to hopefully get an announcement out soon and show everyone what we've been working on with that. But we think it would be really interesting to kind of create a system where we're almost bridging like a metaverse concept or a play to earn concept with a real world investment. So you're getting both at the same time. But yeah, I think there's something for NFTs when it comes to real estate, both in terms of actual, ownership of properties through NFTs, but also extra incentives for investment.
That's a pretty interesting idea. How about you, Gene? What do you think?
I first of all, I absolutely agree with Jordan about the titles and about like the legal usage of the NFT for the titling itself. But I think that's the metaverse part, and the virtual part is much more potential in this case. And what we're saying, actually, this is one of the concepts we've seen in Dubai here, is where I can't name the company yet, but we're cooperating with them. They build, like when they project the building itself, they do it the same way in the metaverse. So an NFTs would represent a certain part, so like somehow within whatever you hold in your physical assets. So like imagine you're in the metaverse and you decide to change the color of your walls. You basically do it the same, you do it digitally, you like it, then you apply it. And when it's applied, the whole thing is being transformed to the real apartment. Somebody goes and picks up the paint and then they do it for you. And that's the bridging that these two worlds, I mean, through the technology is, I think, first of all, it's amazing. And secondly, it's done via the technology of NFT, of Metaverse plus NFT. So I think that's the meta part would definitely kind of, increase the hype behind the tokenization of real estate as well, and bridging that metaverse part as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be really amazing. I'm really excited to see all what metaverse will bring in, because you're basically having the same things you're looking in real life in the metaverse, right? And I think it'll let people like move into worlds that we have no idea about. So that's going to be definitely very interesting. And I agree, it's something to jump in and to get along at this point. Um, so coming back to the token of Landshare itself, what exactly are the use cases? And how did you build the ecosystem to actually like utilize your token? And why do you think people should hold it, buy it, trade it, etc.?
So for the Landshare token, it's the utility token of the platform. So like Gene was talking about earlier, you have security tokens and you have utility tokens. Our platform has the utility token, which is the Landshare token, and then we have the security token, which we call asset tokens. The asset tokens are the tokens that represent the ownership of the real estate assets. And then the Landshare token is the utility for the platform. So the simplest example of a use case is that when you purchase the asset tokens in the STO, you use Landshare tokens as part of the payment method. That's pretty much the simplest use case. We have a governance protocol that handles decisions with regards to the staking platform and the DeFi features of the platform. We have, you can stake the token. There's a liquidity farm. We're talking about like loans and ETFs and NFTs. For all of those features, the Landshare token would be the payment method for that. So for example, let's say I hold some real estate tokens and I don't want to sell my tokens, but I need some cash. So what I can do is I can provide my asset-backed tokens as collateral and receive a loan for the value of those tokens, and then I accrue interest over time. And the interest payments would be made in Landshare token. So that would be one example of how we're integrating the Landshare token into our features, and also an example of how we're creating more utility for real estate-backed tokens. If you're familiar with like Compound or Venus or some of the other loan protocols, we want to create that for the security tokens, because those platforms are not equipped to handle security tokens because of the way they're set up. So we want to fill that gap and say that, the potential use cases for real estate backed tokens go beyond just holding them and collecting rental income. You can use them and interact with different smart contracts and different protocols to increase their value. And all of those features, they kind of take the Landshare token as a payment method or a fee mechanism for our NFTs. Same thing if you want to upgrade your NFT or sell your NFT. It's all going to be through the Landshare token. So the Landshare token is basically like a payment method or a fee mechanism for all the different features of the platform.
Pretty interesting. Anything to add, Gene, that you think it's interesting that's different about the Landshare token?
I definitely think that using security tokens of real estate in collateralization, and it's a next great thing, because now you have it liquid and you have decentralized protocols of using this asset and getting cash in return without selling it. And it's decentralized. You don't have to go through any paperwork. And I'm absolutely positive on that. So again, that could be our next potential partnership in this because we're also looking at this direction, and I find it great. From the land token utility token standpoint, I just want to mention that we've launched, but it's still in beta mode. We've launched a regular exchange. It's a centralized exchange, Stobox exchange for utility tokens. The reason we did it, it's as a complementary product to our partners and our clients in STO. Some projects and some clients that we are speaking with, they find it kind of difficult to, they want to use utility as a part of their ecosystem, but they are not aware about kind of whole mechanism of going to Binance and managing that crypto part. So they just needed a kind of a safe place where they could manage their users from the utility standpoint. And this is exactly why we fit in our exchange into centralized exchange into that Stobox product list. So we're also gonna list land utility token on our Stobox exchange. We just now still in beta mode. We're still playing with the what is called key management system, as we are moving to Fireblocks. As we don't want to keep funds of our customers. We would like, stable institutions to hold that, who are focusing on the securities, on the security of that. So we're finalizing the KMS of our Stobox exchange, and once that done, we're listing land utility token on the Stobox exchange, and that's great about it as well.
Yeah, definitely very exciting. And I think, the use case is very palpable, right? You can actually see how it would definitely help you in the real life, and it combines the real life and with the real asset, which is rare for blockchain projects nowadays, right? So it's really nice to have that physical backup and know that your money is not just in the air, but it actually is backed up by something. So I think this is very interesting, and I love the idea that you can also use it to, you can have to sell it, but you can actually get a loan if at some point you need liquidity. So I think that's a very smart aspect to put in. So congratulations, guys. Like, very good idea, very good project going on. So now we're going to move on to some questions that the audience has. Let's start with, so Jill is asking if you're going to focus on the Fargo area, or are you planning to make like investments nationwide or even global?
So for now, we're focused on the U.S. because that's kind of the area that we're familiar with. It's the area that we're based in. The Fargo property was just the first. We're always looking at markets around the country and looking at different opportunities. I will say that looking at the market, there's certain areas in the country that seem to offer better cash flow opportunities. The property values are a little bit lower and the rent is a little bit higher. So that's kind of the main thing we look at is how can we get the highest ROI for investors? It's not always about getting the biggest luxury real estate. It's not always about how you know it's not always about getting some luxury apartment or anything like that. It's just about looking at the numbers and saying, what's a good investment, what's not a good investment, what makes sense for our business model. We want properties that are fairly easy to manage, low risk, stuff that investors aren't going to be left on the hook for if something goes wrong. So yeah, we're looking at rental properties all around the country, and we're definitely open to potential partnerships for international. But right now, we're focused in the U.S.
Which makes sense. Is the area, right?
Right.
Start small and start building on that. Okay. And guys, I'm seeing a lot of like comments about some gate issues. If you have any issues, please do contact our support. We'll be happy to help. Then let's move on to the next one. Are you planning on launching another chains, or are you going to stay on the BSC?
So we're looking at the potential for other chains. It is a little bit complicated with security tokens because it's not you can't really bridge. It's harder to bridge a security token versus bridging a utility token. If we were to go to cross chain, it would probably be set up in such a way that you would still have to use BSC for the real estate investment portion of it, but we could take our utility token to other chains. So that's something that we're exploring for sure. We'll let everyone know if we have any update on that.
I
Sounds
would
good.
also add on that. That when we talk about STO, it's just this is the offering part, and the heat comes when we talk about the secondary market. And because securities are regulated differently than utility tokens, um, the smart contracts that hold the securities has to know the information about the specific person. And if that person is allowed to sell on the secondary market his part of securities, and what type of part and what amount and when, because there's a lot of clauses to that to the secondary. But as Stobox, we're working on this at the moment, and we hopefully we will release the swap, which is a secondary market for our SaaS solution. It's a secondary market for unregulated, or let's proper wording, unregistered securities. There are two types. There's a registered, where they have an IC numbers, and these types of securities are mostly managed by institutionals. And we have kind of simpler, non-registered through a regulator securities. And with in this case, their secondary market, their secondary exchange is not as highly regulated, but it has to be as compliant as with registered. So we're finalizing this swap for that. So it doesn't matter which EVM, if Ethereum virtual machine based blockchain would be used, and the Binance is a EVM compatible blockchain, as well as the Polygon and so on. So the secondary part will definitely bring much more liquidity into the buying and selling, as in within the classical swap functionality, but only for security tokens. And that's something that we probably goes live in the Q1 of 2022.
That sounds exciting. We'll definitely stay pending. And I think it'll definitely bring a lot of hype. So definitely we'll stay pending. Some people are asking if you have any update on the liquidity lock for land, since you're approaching the 5-month initial lock period. Do you have any updates for that, or not yet?
Yeah, we just plan to keep it in there. It unlocks technically, but we're just going to leave it in there for now. Just leave all the liquidity in.
Okay, noted. And some people are asking, is the asset tokens going to be available for U.S. citizens or not right now? Or is it in the plans?
So it's something on the legal side. It's not something that we wanted to do, but basically, like Gene said, there's registered and unregistered offerings. When we do an unregistered offering, what we have to do is either restrict U.S. investors entirely, or restrict it to accredited U.S. investors. So what we did is we did a Regulation S offering, which is an offshore exemption. And what that means is that we don't offer to U.S. investors. We could accommodate certain U.S. investors who make a certain level of income or have an accredited investor status. But this would be a fairly small percentage of people in the U.S. So as far as offering to the general public in the U.S., we would have to register the offering, which would be quite the process, very expensive and kind of a long legal process, which is why if you look across the blockchain, if you look at most pre-sales and most security offerings, there's generally a restriction on U.S. investors there. And that's just because of how the laws are set up in the U.S. I would like to see the regulators in the U.S. kind of loosen up a little bit. But until they do that, it does make it difficult to sell securities to U.S. investors.
Yeah, it
At
makes
least
sense.
they haven't done so since 1934.
Yeah, we're using the same laws from the 30s. I think we could update it maybe, but that's not my decision. So.
Yeah, I agree. Regulation can be either your best friend or your worst enemy, and unfortunately, right now, sometimes it doesn't help people, which is not good. But we totally understand, and it's good that you're doing things right, because at the end of the day, well, you have to comply, and it's part of the project being successful. So definitely good on that. But what about, okay, if investors, you have properties in the U.S., so because I think people are a little bit confused about that. So you get properties in the U.S. and investors from outside can buy properties in the U.S., correct? Could you explain a little bit more on that?
Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think about it. But that's just the way it goes. We buy properties in the U.S. and pretty much anyone who doesn't live in the U.S. can invest in those properties. that's pretty much just how it goes.
No, and that's pretty amazing because, how else are you going to, if you cannot fly into the US and go and check the land and stuff like that, it's an amazing opportunity for somebody to take a hold of the booming market in the US. So yeah, that's why people, they're asking about this because I think they have interest in that sense. And just to maybe close it off as for time and everything, let's remind people how they can get the tokens, how they can get involved, and just how do I get on board with Landshare?
So there's two options. You can buy our utility token. That's available on Gate. It's available on PancakeSwap and ApeSwap. And if you want to get involved in the real estate investment portion of it, you can head over to app.landshare.io, click on the tokenized assets button. It'll show you the property that we are currently offering, all the statistics and financials, return estimates of the property, so you can make an informed investment. And if you want to purchase, you click on the buy on dashboard button. It'll take you to the dashboard where you can register an account and then do KYC. And then after that, you can purchase the property directly from your wallet, directly from your MetaMask wallet or Trust wallet. So it's a pretty easy process as far as real estate investment goes. Yeah, and we have a Twitter, twitter.com/landshareio. Our website is landshare.io. We have a lot of information at landshare.medium.com. So those are the areas where you can find out more about us.
Amazing. And to remind people about Stobox, because Stobox is actually bringing a lot of good projects in the space. Jean, can you share with us, just reminding us where we can find out more about Stobox and upcoming projects and all that?
Sure. First of all, the main website is stobox.io, and I highly recommend to visit. It's not a public link. We're just releasing it at the moment. But if you go stobox.io/clients, you'll see a map, the globe map with the pins there. So this the clients. This are the jurisdictions that we focus on and that we're currently working on. We have more than 25 projects in the pipeline for the Q1. Absolutely different, from the real estate to cryptocurrency mining to physical mining to guys who do kind of have business models like Uber for trucks and so on. So it's like we're seeing different businesses using STO as the vehicle to global fundraising. Not only fundraising, but the managing, because the managing of securities, of managing a portfolio becomes much more easier. You don't need a brokerage. It's all decentralized, and we're actually very keen in building that and focusing in that market. So that's from the tokenization part. Again, stobox.io. Check it out. Also, we have a crypto, let's say, initiative. As I said, it's STBU, which is Stobox Utility Token. You can find it on Gate. Now we're launching that Stobox exchange, and the usage of our utility token is a classical centralized exchange token where you pay gas fees, where you get all that motivations and get rankings and stuff by holding and using Stobox token. And kind of we managing that two different parts of tokenization of real assets and playing with crypto, because it's an adorable journey. I think there's nothing, there's no industry in the world that goes at that pace as crypto, and it makes the process so much interesting. Like what you see and how you see, you never thought it could it could be coming to life like 5 years ago. You would never believe it could be true, but now you're seeing that things, and definitely it's a great economy to focus on. So we're on that part as well, crypto in general.
Yeah, definitely. And congratulations. And thank you for bringing more, traditional industry to the crypto world, because at the end of the day, it opens up opportunities for people. Let's say, Landshare, for example, when had you had the opportunity to purchase a property in the US so easily? I mean, it's just a couple of steps and doing online. And I think that's amazing because it can definitely bring new economic opportunities for the world. and a new globalization at another level that connects us all together. So congratulations, guys, and definitely pushing that. It's one of the reasons why I'm in blockchain, and I'm pretty sure that why people love blockchain, because it opens up your opportunities. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter, what kind of position you're at, but you have access to everything, and that's amazing. So yeah, anything to close off with that you want to say to the gate community? Anything that you like them to know or to stay pending of?
Just like to say thanks to everyone who tuned in. Appreciate the questions, and yeah, just really appreciate everyone who showed up.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us, for finding time and getting to learn about Landshare and Stobox. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for being here, and we really appreciate what you're doing. And hopefully you'll also have a great new year, and we'll start this new year with like a lot of Landshare in our lives. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you. Happy upcoming New Year.
For everyone who is here, let's go have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.